I am doing a YouTube stream recording of this, so this is a time they allocate to specifically work on BeagleY-AI experience, developing with Zephyr, primarily targeting the R5, but we're also going to deal with programming on BeagleY-AI, the A53 cores, as well, with Zephyr, and environments like MicroPython, trying to produce kind of a full Python development stack. With on the BeagleY-AI. You should see a chat box in the on the stage. You should see a little box. I don't know what it looks like because I've already got it open. Ask questions here. And I see a Yush. Let me get a Yush up on stage. If anybody else wants to raise their hand or ask
Hello.
questions. Hi, Ayush. I made the mistake of not unchecking the everyone box today. It seemed like a lot of people joined and then dropped off pretty quick.
I cannot hear you, Jason.
No? Oh, okay. Trying again. Can you hear me now? Just maybe I should exit Discord and bring it back in. Oh, it didn't really exit. Let's. Cannot stand Zephyr. Join stage. Speak on stage. Hi, Yush. So I don't
Hello.
guess everybody heard that. I'm happy to answer any questions on Beagle. I accidentally clicked the notify everyone button today. Usually I uncheck it before starting these streams. So today I missed unchecking the notify everyone button. So this is the time I'm doing weekly to work on Zephyr hacking on BeagleY-AI. But I'm happy to answer any questions just generally on Beagle. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of people joined and quit when they couldn't hear anybody, so I have no idea why Discord didn't actually stream my voice, but anyway, you should see a chat box. If you click on it, you can ask a question, or if you want to raise your hand, happy to bring you up on stage and ask any questions that you might have on Beagle. This is a time reserved every week to work on the Zephyr experience on BeagleY-AI. Whatever we can do to kind of improve the state of Zephyr development, primarily for the R5, so the microcontroller cores on BeagleY-AI. But general Zephyr improvement, like including for the A53 cores. We're just trying to make BeagleY-AI kind of the easiest platform to get started developing with Zephyr, right? So you've got a natively hosted toolchain, as well as working well with the CI that we've got for Beagle. Yep. So the Open Beagle website. So let me move my Discord to another screen just in case somebody wants to ask questions. There is a YouTube stream. I've not been able to share the screen simultaneously. Did my audio cut out?
No, it's still working, at least
Okay.
for me.
So I keep a separate YouTube stream, and I have not been able to get the Discord to work at the same time. So plan is to eventually do Big Blue Button installation, but I have not had any chance to work on that. So most of this development I do over the browser using the Visual Studio Code. right? So if you just browse to your Beagle, this is over Ethernet, but you can also just use the local USB interface, and I fall back to that sometimes, right? The 192.168.6.2. That's the USB interface, the virtual IP connection there. So that's the way I get into the Beagle, and then we've been running the Zephyr tools here, right? So I've already gone through the Zephyr install. So we've got a repository where we're tracking this Zephyr development under the Open BeagleY-AI Zephyr. We've got a planning project in there to kind of track where we've been, what goals that we have, and then some specific. We've been mostly working here on this MicroPython test. So I do have my. Do I have to see your screen on YouTube? Unfortunately, that's the only way to see my screen, because when I've tried to stream it simultaneously in Discord, it's hung up. And I'd rather have the recording not being firewalled by. Well, I mean, I don't even think Discord you can keep the recording. So eventually, we'll take the live stream completely off of Discord. My apologies. Yep. So if you want to see the screen, you've got to go to the YouTube, and it does have like a 30-second or 5 to 30-second lag. It's pretty annoying. So I'll try to hang on to these screens so that you can see them. But on the Open Beagle site, we've got the BeagleY-AI group, and then a subgroup of Zephyr. That's where we've been tracking this development. And so we've got a fork of MicroPython and Zephyr that are tracking some of the upstream contributions. And we've also been watching a handful of projects, right? So most notably Andrew Davis's work. He's at GLNEO on GitHub, and he's got both MicroPython and Zephyr trees. So want to see if there's in the last week he's done anything different. So on his RP message transport, that's where he's got some patches against MicroPython, so that he can get the RP message interface. So that's a way that the R5 and the A53s can talk to each other. So let me do since there's a bunch of new people, and I don't see a lot of questions, just want to kind of quickly show in the block diagram on the AM67A, which is the processor that's on BeagleY-AI, right? You've got Linux running, at least in the kind of the main Debian distributions that we ship, right? We've got Linux running on these A53 cores, and then there's a couple of R5 subsystems. I don't know which of these is main and which one of these is what's called MCU. That they're in a couple different domains. We've just been messing with the one in the main domain, and it can actually access. There are ways to firewall it, but it can access the most of the AM67 SoC, right? So it can actually get out to the DDR and other places. So we're using the Zephyr RTOS as a basis for providing an interface for running code on the R5s, including this OpenAMP remote. So remote proc is an aspect of Linux, but an RP message, right, is a way for talking between different cores. So you load the code with remote proc, but it also provides this interface. So if we go and look in the running, this is running on BeagleY-AI. If we go look at sysclass remote proc, right, we'll see interfaces to several of the different other processors in the system. I think maybe the easiest way to see which ones is to look at the name. No. right? So 2 of these are DSPs and 3 of these are R5s. So we happen to know, we need to, I think one of the actions is to get the symlinks right. I don't know if under dev, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, I know some of the things I want to hit on the keyboard don't work in the web, but yeah, I don't see a bunch of the dev links here. There's bonus PWM, and I think is there hat. Yeah, that's just a I2C interface peripherals that go across the hat interface, right? So I don't think we have a ton of the different remote proc symlinked yet, but we want to get those in here so that you don't have to use remote proc 4. So right now we're running something on the R5. I forget what I left running, but it's got this TTY on it. So, so if we use this RP message, right, it's just a shared memory interface, and we left a version of MicroPython running. I believe this is the one that has the issue with import. So every time I do import, like Zephyr, it hangs. No? Oh. Import sys, I don't know. Is it not import? Is it require or something? Or what's in Python? It's import, isn't it?
Yeah, it's import, but I don't think you need to put like quotes around it. Something.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the version that hangs. So we had, I think we've got a new build here. Is that, I don't know if we changed this since, yeah, it's 4 days ago, so it's newer than the last time we met. But I don't know what all we've changed here. So I'm trying to catch up on what we've done so far. I think getting a clean build, right, has been the goal, right? So reproducing the work. If you just want to play with a working MicroPython on the R5s today, unfortunately we don't have a good way to unload the code on the R5 once it's loaded with remote proc. The remote proc driver is currently not releasing. There's a handshake that it tries to do to shut down the R5 gracefully, and so we don't have a good way of getting it back. So I just reboot the whole processor. So you may not need to quote, Dhruv says. Yeah, so if we want to look at some of the okay, just import in the keyword. Yeah. What can we? So I want to look to see if there's been anything new in either the MicroPython that we're tracking or the Zephyr that we're tracking, where somebody might have come back and fixed. We've been using newer versions of both Zephyr and MicroPython than what was shipped on the board. Let's see, we booted back up again. And so we haven't, I say we, Ayush and I have not fully reproduced what Andrew Davis did. Right, and we don't have an exact version of the firmware that he built, but if you look at the TI Zephyr firmware that Robert packaged, don't do caps lock. You'll see this install MicroPython script, which just copies the version of the firmware here to a specific location in the lib firmware, and that's what gets loaded by default by Linux when it boots up and it loads the R5. So this is a known working version But unfortunately, I'll need to after copying this version of the firmware over, and this regeneration of the init RAM disk isn't necessary. If we were running off of a RAM disk when Linux booted, it would be really important, so that it, the version that's in lib firmware when Linux booted and it was running it from this RAM disk. It'd be really important. But right now, we actually just directly boot to the ext4 file system and don't actually run the RAM disk and do the rotate. So this is actually an unnecessary step. So once that's all done, we'll be able to reboot and run the existing version. So might as well show off while there's some extra people here today. Show it off working. In the meantime, Ayush, have you looked at any of the work that Andrew's done to see why maybe import was hanging? Why our version of this had a hang on whenever we did import?
I have not looked at it. I think it's something due to how MicroPython allocates. So it has its own like heap over a static array kind of thing.
Yeah.
And since we are like for R5, our memory is RAM, I think. So there might be some address conflict there, but like I'm not sure completely.
I just sent Nishant a message in the chat to see if you're willing to come on stage. One of the things that we want to get kind of cleaned up here is the ability to run OpenOCD to look at what is going on the R5 to kind of see why we're hung. And right now we segfault every time we try to run OpenOCD. Yeah, okay, Nishant just wants to listen. All right.
One way to, I guess, debug is to enable logs, since the default MicroPython config does not enable Zephyr logs, so you will not see any kind of MPU fault or anything like that in logs normally.
Yeah, well, where would those logs go, and how would we keep them around?
So currently, the Zephyr logs don't go anywhere at all. Since MicroPython has disabled Zephyr logging completely, and it's directly doing, I'm not sure with TTY or whatever, but since the config log option is not enabled by default, you will not see any MPU fault or anything even if that happens.
Okay. So is it just going to come back over the RP message buffer?
Yes, they should.
Okay, so if we just update ports, Zephyr, boards, and then we go to we're building the main. Oh, this is not the config. That's device tree. Where's the? Does that not have a conf? It just has a device tree overlay, not a conf.
Yeah, it's probably using the default option, so we can either create a conf for BeagleY-AI or just add it to the prj.conf.
Where's the purej.conf? I mean, there's not like a. Is there a default purej.conf here? So there's a minimal.
So in the Zephyr folder.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Sorry. So if we make a board conf, right, that's all extra to this, right? Because I don't necessarily want to touch this one if we don't need to. So So if I do boards and then new file, and it's board dot conf, and like you're saying config logs log equal y, or which the setting you're wanting to turn on?
So config log should be on, and let me check what else might be needed. Yeah, config log mode immediate. I think that should be on.
Okay. Is there anything particular you want to, any subsystems that we want to turn it on for?
So sometimes after an MPU fault or something, the whole log does not get printed if you do not turn on the immediate option.
Yeah, I could turn on the immediate option, but I'm just wondering if there's any other subsystems that we want to set a log. Um, yeah, any other. So, yeah, immediate. Yeah, mode immediate. All right. Making sure I get these typed right. All right. Config.log equals y. Config log mode immediate equals y. Then I'm going to go back into MicroPython test and just trigger a rebuild. I guess we can be building locally here too, since we've got that all set up. It takes longer, but don't have to do any downloads. But so I should probably demonstrate it. So we've already got the environment set up, so we can do source v and v, then activate. That gets the Python requirements, and then we need to source Zephyr environment.sh. Right, that gets some of the other environment, Zephyr base. I don't know what else gets set in here, but you may want to change the log level to debug. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is something we might probably want to change some of the, like maybe the default level to debug or something else. Anyway.
It's not particularly important in case of a fault, since that's always a log level error. But yeah, you might get more logs with debug. I'm not sure if we will get any logs though, since the RPM transport is kind of a hack.
Yeah, I don't know if it's good. If it's having the UART would really help. I'm hopeful that the so I got an update to the Hello World project, but I didn't see anything. Oh, that's Zephyr. Okay, maybe the MicroPython. Here we go, MicroPython. Just wanted to see. Oh, add new file. Yeah, put a. Because I did it in the CI, I gave an absolutely cryptic. I didn't give a good definition of the git commit, so it just add new file. Anyway, got the right version. Now I can do west build. Let's put it in the put in a build subdirectory. The board is BeagleY-AI. I get driven nuts by this AM67A versus J722S thing. Anyway, what it's called in Zephyr is J722S, not AM67A. MicroPython ports Zephyr. I shouldn't need anything else, right? Oh, I'm surprised. Oh, did I not update my MicroPython test? because currently I have overlay config in here. I mean, it seemed to pull down the right subprojects. This should reload, yeah. West build, HD build, micro, Python, AI, J722S main R5. I want to build what? I want to build modules, lib, micro, Python, ports, Zephyr. And do we want to build it clean? Let's probably. The -P at the end says to make sure to build it all clean and don't reuse any of the existing builds, but I made a typo. Oh, I put the old version. That's part of what was cleaned up. If I just read above, the R5F0. That's how it ended up being named, right? So this finally landed upstream, right? So we've got inside of Zephyr now. If we look under boards, Beagle. Oh, it did not. It is still. It's only BeagleY-AI 64 landed upstream, and I think it had that R5F0. So that's got that naming convention. So the new pull request has it done that way. Is there any more reviews? Yeah, I guess Andrew hasn't. I asked for just a couple little minor changes. I guess Andrew hasn't gotten to that. Oh, he's made some comments. Alright, I need to go back and read those. But you can see here what he's put in there has this R5F0. So we are actually, I think, we've merged this pull request, I believe. Nope, I still errored out. Main underscore, okay, not slash, main underscore R5F0 underscore 0. Alright, let's see our CI job. Is it finished? Yes, it built. What did I do now? So it still says I haven't typed it in right, my board name. And I do have -B for board. But valid targets. J72S main underscore J722S / main underscore R5F0 underscore 0. Alright, maybe if anybody can see it, I don't see how I'm missing the board target. Maybe I just need to do pristine. Maybe that's... Oh, yeah, it's keeping an old qualifier around. Yeah, it's just do the -P.
Zephyr does that a lot.
Yeah, it was keeping the old qualifier around in the build. Yeah. All right, so now let's get a new window. All right. I don't know what this well, anyway, so we've got a MicroPython, a new one. Lib firmware, and it's called yep. So we see, okay, just double checking. I put the new firmware in the location, so when we reboot, we will boot the firmware from the CI build, so that we're tracking that. The question is, do I want to sit around and wait for it to build locally? I'll reboot and come back to it. If I'd started the build locally first and then updated it online, I think it might have been reasonable. But right now, I don't have a key for pushing from my Beagle. I've just done a git clone with the HTTP link without logging in, so I haven't put any keys onto my Beagle for being able to push the code. So that's why I'm not kind of making the changes directly there on the Beagle. Hey Justin, oh my goodness. Thanks for taking the time out to join me in this fun little live stream. Alright, what else do we want to work on in the meantime? So our big goal here was to reboot and try to get some more logs out as to why our fork is hanging, but I still want to understand. So we know with the version of Zephyr has changed. I think we've gotten all of the commits from MicroPython. Like I don't think there's any significant differences from what Andrew was running for MicroPython itself, right? It seems like it's going to be a change in Zephyr. I think the symlinks are missing in the BeagleY-AI. Yeah, they for sure are. Like we don't have any of the remote proc symlinks. That just, yeah, maybe we can go tackle that problem. That'd be a good one. Just to go make the UDEV rules and give them over to Robert so that they will be shipped. So that's a good task. Alright, so we've got new firmware running. The sysclass remote proc 4, so we don't have to do that in the future state. Yep, it's running to dev TTY RP message 0. X equals 1 plus 2. Alright, we have MicroPython running. If we're not getting any interesting logs though. So, I mean, you would think that there would be some type of Zephyr logs besides this. Interesting. Not hanging. How do we get the build ID? Is there a place where we can get the build ID? Sys.platform is boring. Sys.version Does it have anything interesting? What's that tag? GEF. Not that one. I want to look at just MicroPython. Where would it grab that tag from? Do you think it'd be from the Git repo from where it's built?
Probably something to do with the commit hash.
Yeah, which commit hash though, right? So this is 1029. Hey, it's a current build date. It's funny that the problem just went away. You try to look at it and the problem just goes away. Version info. Yeah, it's not that interesting. So maybe we have to turn logging on for things to work. So GEF9. Let me start the local build again. What did I do? Oh, source that VNV bin activate source Zephyr and our shell. All right, so no error. So I wanted to find out which version. I mean, it's got to be the right version because it's today's date. Oh, it's okay. If I should probably skip that G since G doesn't fit in hex. So EF9. Yeah, it's that one. Okay, it's grabbing it from the branch of MicroPython, right? That's EF9678. EF9678. Yeah, that's it. So it is definitely building. That is definitely the version that came from this branch of MicroPython, right? So it's got our new config log and config log immediate. What are some of the other stuff we can do? Let's do some testing, and I wonder how we can automate the testing of the MicroPython, right? Because we want to try to get this some sort of regression testing environment set up. One thing I don't know is how to like build in like a main or some type of there's some connection between like a Python and a MicroPython system that might be interesting to try out. That might be a good way to exercise the MicroPython. See, garbage collector
I think
GC.
there are some editors like which allow you to program MicroPython code like Arduino does and just upload the code, but I've never used those.
Random Googling. PyMaker extension. PyMakr, PyCharm. Let's look at what extensions we can add here. I'm not seeing that one that the
It
PyMakr.
might be in the proprietary store, I guess, and we are not like
Oh, right.
having that.
Right. If that's in the um. Somebody mentioned to me, Platform IO is interesting. Um, Somebody had mentioned one that they use. Um, I don't know much about how Platform IO. Do we already have Platform IO pre-installed? Hmm. I don't know how Jupyter Notebooks is for MicroPython. Wouldn't necessarily think it's that great for MicroPython. Maybe okay.
Platform IO does not have MicroPython in the framework, so I don't think we can use that.
Is this a good one? Defans. 68,000 installs and a 2-star rating. Yeah, probably not. Hmm. Kind of curious about doing it with Jupyter. Because we should just be able
Yeah,
to.
it works. It's just a Docker container as well, and you have to pass the device.
Wow, almost a gigabyte just to install Jupyter.
You can use a, a Docker container directly as I have posted the link in the Discord chat. There's a run the Jupyter kernel inside Docker container.
Why would I want to run it in a container?
So that if anything goes seriously wrong, I guess we can just nuke the container.
I don't know. To me, the advantage of running on something like a BeagleY is that it's already contained, right? It's not on like the main system I'm using. It's already like a secondary target, right? So I should be able to run whatever I want natively on the BeagleY.
Yeah, it all depends on the versions of dependencies that it expects. So
Yeah. I mean, especially since what we're trying to build here, right, is a disk image that allows really easy development for the R5, right? So we want to make it really easy for people to hack on the R5 in a disk image, right? If they're having to run Docker just to run a tool, it just seems not so great to me. And we did get it built locally. installing it, the locally built copy is kind of the same as doing it remotely. We need to eventually get West Flash to do it. So let me make a couple notes while this is installing. Where are we at on this? So we want the R5 rules. I'm going to do that. We can do that now. I guess that's not necessary. This is going to kind of fall into specifically MicroPython. I don't know how to organize that. What was the other kind of thing? So I know we want the UDEV rules. Was there other stuff that we identified that need to be done? All right, I'll come back to this. If there's something else we've identified, like going through this, like we want to make sure we get.
I mean, I don't think so since import started working magically. We probably need to know like why they are working now, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why the import started working. We really need, so we need this OpenOCD, and we can, and we need the start and stop. Like we desperately need the start and stop.
Yeah.
I don't think these are very greatly organized, but all right, we're still installing Jupyter.
Maybe we should remove the init ramfs like generation from our default script as well.
Maybe that would definitely make installing packages quicker. That's not what's going on here, but all right, let's edit our UDEV rules. So we should have this remote proc no. Is this just for no root, or does this also give us a link? Let's see. This has got names. All right, this should be pretty easy. So we need these names, and to give them names. I should make a copy of this. I can just submit a diff. Oh, come on. Yes, I want you to paste. Yay. I don't know. Do we keep these J7? I mean, that was the name used before. I think we just keep them. This one here is main R5 F0_0. I don't know what any of the rest of these are. Let's look at our device tree. Our Charm64, boot, DTS, TI, AM67A. We're going to have to use AM6722S. 22S, maybe main. Sweet. So 7X1 is on 7E00. C71, is that 0? 7X0, just C7X0. Is it a 7-1? I'm guessing it's a 7-1. So this must be a 7-1-1. Yeah, learning MicroPython isn't too bad, but you got to keep referring to what the subset is, right? You can't just import new modules. Trying to get new modules done in MicroPython is a royal pain, but all right, R5 7840, that's the one we already have, right? 784. So 780. Xerox, that memory address, Xerox 780. MCU domain. It's including it from, no, it's just the firmware. Uh, 7800. Yeah. So it's shared with AM62P. AM62P. Common MCU. Oh, come on. There's the subsystem, 7.9. MCU is 7.9. Alright, so this one is MCU R5F. It's weird that the TDA4 doesn't seem to have MCU domain, or at least we didn't mark them before. So that's MCU 00 is at 7.9. So what is at 7.8? Wake up. And I don't think we've even looked at that one. Wake up. No, we have, yeah, there's nothing. R5F00. All right. So now when I need to copy this into place, let's do the diff from orig to That's not a very nice diff, right? No, not an issue. I just want to make a new issue. And all right, now should be there when we get back. We've got a what happens if we just run Jupyter? Jupyter notebook. What port is it going to come up on? Oh, I've got to tell it to yeah, it's not going to work when I open it. Yeah. I need to tell it to, oh, I can do the token. Haha. I wonder if the token will really allow me to do it. Copy. 192.168.6.2 colon 8888. No, token's not enough. I need to tell it to what's the, yeah, yes, shut down the server. Yes. How do you tell it to listen to remote accesses? Cert file, no thanks. Great, but yeah, how about IP? Unicode. There we go. Now, yeah, that's all local, right? So we want it. So maybe there's how do we start the notebook to point to? Yeah, I went through this. Was just want the invocation. So yeah, definitely don't want. Yeah, not helpful. Port serial connect to. So in the first cell, you can do this. Okay, so if we just do new notebook. Feel free to chime in with questions and all that fun stuff. So I'm not familiar with this serial connect. And it's just a -- port. Serial connect not found. Is that a something normally there? Kernels list, kernel spec list.
I think we need to install the MicroPython Jupyter kernel as well.
Yeah. So what is this? Where is this putting? Yeah, I hate these, like, pip. Is that? Why is that an invalid search? App cache search. Meta kernel. It does not look like it's Debian packaged. There's a. So what's the one we're trying to install? We're trying to install Jupyter MicroPython kernel. Oh, and they're cloning it. Oh my goodness. Community maintain kernels. Yes, this is all custom kernel. Yuck. Oh, I hate this. Alright, so it looks like it's still very much in infancy. But it does look like a nice way to work with it. I mean, I like Jupyter notebooks in general for kind of telling people how to do things in Python. So it makes sense to do it with MicroPython.
The last commit is from 3 years ago.
Yeah, there might be something newer, for sure. Yeah, this is still. Well, maybe if we go to the Git repo, maybe they'll talk about something newer. No. Yuck. How complicated is this little kernel anyway? It's probably not much of anything. All right, we need somebody to write a kernel and actually get it put into. just amazes me how little people understand about actually integrating in with systems. It just leave it out there in an absolutely disgusting mess. All right. I hate that too much. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to just yeah, to run that garbage. It just puts things in a Docker container because it's garbage. All right. Anything else for the day? Let's see. We've got some UDEV rules, so we can make sure that that gets merged. Let's see. OpenOCD. Let's reproduce the. We lost Nishant, so he won't see our crash. It would have been nice to show him the crash. We can try to look at the actual serial data. Maybe we've got logs going out over there. So what do you use the? So I want something with fly leads. Where can I find I've got so many different things laying around. The FTDI cable is kind of the easy one to find, I think. But it's got all the leads kind of stuck next to each other. I'll just use fly leads from the FTDI cable. Alright, I have an FTDI cable in hand. Plugging it into the Beagle. So now I have TTY USB 0, and we are connected up over. Oh, that is. This still needs to be cleaned up so much. Where's the pin? SOC pin F24. We're F24 and C27. 24 and C27. So, where are some fly leads? That's male to female, female to female, and male to male. Here we go. All right, so I should probably have my camera on, but I'm gonna use green wire. So So orange is transmit. Oh, I do want male to female. I forgot. On the hat, you've got a hat connector. It's female connections. So our male connections on there, right? So let's see. Black to black, because that's ground, and then I want, so yellow is transmit and orange, yellow is receive. So I'm going to wire up, oh man, why did I do that? Okay, the orange is going, that's the transmit, so I want to go to the receive. That goes to 10, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in from the outer edge is going to go to orange, right? Orange is transmit, goes to receive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then ground is the third one. 1, 2, 3. Slide on there already. And then transmits in the, so receive goes to transmit in the middle. Why can't I fit in here? It's very boring listening to me just talk to myself as I'm plugging in cables. Alright. I now have FGDI cable plugged in from the BeagleY-AI to itself. Can we get it to print out anything? Oops, terminal. So we've got nada. Yeah, I don't see anything on the serial log. Let me double check my connections here. So yellow.
We are not compiling in the UART core by like C file, so I'm pretty sure that nothing will come up on the UART.
Okay, so the you're saying that it's not even bringing in the code, right? So for the UART ports.
Yeah.
So for this,
So you might need to add it to the CMake list file, the UART core source.
where would I add it? The UART make file? What's that?
CMake list file.
Oh,
Like
what I was
the
just
commit.
looking at, what he changed? Yeah, but what, isn't it going to interfere?
Yeah, so at least the current architecture seems to be like
Because I
pushing
think he's swapped.
everything.
Yeah, because I think he's using the UART interface, which is why we thought we'd get the log information, but we didn't. So where is the log information going? All right. All right. Can't check that off. Can we do anything to remote proc to fix the start and stop? I think that's such a TI problem. All right, I've got nothing left that doesn't depend on TI or Robert. Anything you have a use that we can work on?
Not for BeagleY-AI at the moment.
Okay.
mean, we can, I guess, like this might be a bit unrelated to R5 though, like using BeagleY-AI as an SWD debugger, like how you can use RTI specifically for the MSPM0 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like BeagleY-AI can be used as an SWD debugger, at least theoretically.
Yeah, yeah, for the MSPM0 stuff, that makes a ton of sense. Um, so yeah, sorry for notifying everybody. I think that some people saw that there was a poll that put out on the general channel for having some sessions somewhat like this. Ayesha, I know you wanted to say kind of check in on our development in the like in the between at the beginning of such a call. But just sure. um, and I'm sending the link in the chat to this to this to this chat, right? So that people can look at what that poll was. I encourage you to fill out that poll, and we can try to do some focused development time. My goal is, right, the community knows a lot more about what we're actually working on a day-to-day basis, and has some input. We can learn back and forth about the best way to kind of move things forward, to get some real working lists out on the Open Beagle site that people can help tackle. That's why I'm trying to have the project with some checklist items, so that there's some place that we know where to contribute. There's in the documentation project, right? There's tons and tons of to-dos. That's probably where we could use the most contribution. But I really want to make sure people are unstuck and able to do useful things in the project by having these calls, right? So either to help you solve your own development problems, or to understand better how you can help us solve like things for the whole community. So want to try to do more and more of that, just to stay engaged and responsive to the community. So and try to do that in a scalable way, right? We've got 2,000 people now on our Discord, right? So like, let's use it. Although it doesn't seem to be the best tool for kind of doing the video streaming and sharing stuff. So I'm going to set up Big Blue Button as soon as I get to it. Been saying that now for a month, so maybe today's the day. Alrighty, if you don't have anything else, I see Sage Boy's typing. If you're looking for something to contribute to, I'm gonna post it openbeagle.org/docs.beagleboard.io. If you go to that site and can't figure it out to contribute, like, just ask us on the documentation channel. Is probably the most the most useful one to ask about contributing. I think we want to kind of do some I don't know, that's always what needs work.
Yeah, and like it would be great as just the community made some projects and stuff and wrote blog posts themselves. That's also good.
Yep, we had some. There's some new training out for Beagle Play. Michael Oppendecker, formerly of Bootland, has done some training. I think if we need to get back to Beaglecast. I think in Beaglecast we can really give some kind of community news updates. If we kind of gathered some of those, maybe some of them in like show and tell. If we kind of highlighted what's new in show and tell.
Yeah.
And make sure that we highlight other people's work on show and tell as well, so that we kind of have a good backlog list. All right, I'm going to drop from the call unless there's some other question. Is there something typed? Where'd it go? How do I get back to it? Live now. Man, all right. I can't figure out Discord. We'll chat again this time next week. Thanks all. Bye bye.